everybody. Welcome to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me. It is November 9th, and I'm going to talk about my weekend real quick and then get to my guest. Friday night, I actually attended and performed in a backyard comedy show out in Long Island. And you know what? It was really nice to get together with some friends that I haven't seen in a while since this, coronavirus thing has been going on. It's been, it was definitely safe. We were in a backyard and it was a lot of fun. It was cold though. It was cold on the cold side. Saturday, I spent the day winterizing my backyard. And then Saturday night, just stayed home, made some popcorn and watched a few movies, which was lovely. And then Sunday, continued winterizing my backyard. And then my girl, Kristen Tinsley, came over. We wrote some jokes and we were talking about, what hopefully 2021 holds for us. And then we had a lovely dinner. It was a little impromptu, so it was really nice. Just a couple of quick announcements. Bat Boy, a Yankee Miracle that I'm in, as you know, it's a traveling off-Broadway show, is going to be going virtual next month in December. Really excited about that. It should be a lot of fun. And also, I'm filming an indie film on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to that too. With my friend Michael. So I have a lot going on and hopefully more things are going to pick up. And I'm happy about that. But let me get to my guest. Again, I'm so glad everyone's tuning in tonight. He's an actor, he's a producer, he's a director, he's a writer. He wears many, many hats. So I am so happy and thrilled to welcome Paul Borghese. How are you, Paul?
All right, Teresa, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I made it.
I'm glad you made it. You're a busy, busy man.
You're a busy girl, it seems.
I'm trying. So listen, I want everyone to get to know you and what you've done in an amazing career. You're originally from where? Where are you originally from, Paul?
Well, I'm originally from the Bronx. We had a family business, B&G Clothes, in Little Italy of the Bronx for almost 100 years in Arthur Avenue, East 187th Street area. And then moved up to Rockland County when I was a kid.
Wow.
But I lived in Manhattan for a very long time,
Yeah, and you went to, let me see if I get any of my fun facts wrong, please correct me. But you went to Tappan Zee High School?
Oh, yes, I did.
And that's in Orangeburg, New York, huh?
Yeah, in Rockland County.
In Rockland, yeah. And then you studied communications at St. Thomas Aquinas. Am I saying that right? College?
Yeah, St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to several different colleges. I went to Rockland Community College first, then Cortland State, upstate New York, and then after that, I came back and went to St. Thomas Aquinas College to finish up. But then went back to school again to Center for the Media Arts to study more film and television.
Yeah. So I want to know, when did you get the acting bug, or when did you say to yourself, I want to get into this crazy business called showbiz?
It's definitely a crazy business. I guess I always kind of, wanted to get in the business and always liked it. I mean, I was in a couple of high school plays and, dabbled in some stuff, but it wasn't until really after college I had opened up like a pizza and pasta place with a friend of mine, good friend of mine. It was called Al. His name was Al, and I'm Paulie, so it was called Al Paulie's Pasta and Pizza. And it was a bar in there and everything. And we did a local commercial, and I really loved the process of the commercial that we made. Not only being in it, being the voice of the commercial, but the production value, level. Aspect of it, I should say. So then I went back to, do more schooling, and then I kind of got in on both ends, acting and production at the same time.
Well, you've been doing this a long time. I think you started back in 1988. So you've been doing this for over 30 years. And you know what? Looking back at your career and what you've done, and I need you back for 2 more shows because I cannot fit everything into this show that you've done. Really, but you've like I said, you've worn many hats, and you've done so many things over the years. And I wanted to know if there was anyone that influenced you, anyone that you watched or idolized or wanted to kind of I don't know, follow in their footsteps or say that's what I want to look like when I get there, so to speak,
Well, I probably always idolized and thought of my father as a role model and always wanted to be as much as I could like him, although he's not in our business. So, I couldn't relate to that. But as a person and as a man. But as far as the business goes, I mean, you hate to sound cliche, but truth be told, when I was younger, and let's not date me too much with when you started and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I was, worked in a movie theater as an usher behind the candy stand. And at the time, one of the movies that was playing was Raging Bull. So,
Oh,
of course, it was a Martin Scorsese film, Robert De Niro, and I remember I just was like, I must have watched the movie 150 times, and I was just so interested in the process of filmmaking, and it just seemed like such an art to me,
yeah.
and that I think that really, and that was a very long time ago, but I think that really prompted me saying like I really would love to be in the film, but it's not necessarily the movie business, but the film business, because I saw it as a craft, as an art.
Well, I think a lot of actors like myself aspire to be a working actor. That's really what we want to do. We just want to be a working actor. That's, it's something that we love to do. It's our craft. But to sustain and to, continue through all the years to be a working actor, it's a big accomplishment. It really is. A lot of people don't sustain. They don't have the same
Just
longevity.
just being able to work. I mean, really, just being able to work in this business and make a living in this business is considered much more of a success than any other business or career. Where if you're just making a living, you're always going to think I could do better, I should do better. But just making a living in acting or directing or producing is you feel very, very fortunate to. Of course, you always want to do better, but and make more money, but it's not the same thing as a job. We could be like, I mean, you have a particular job, or and you say, well, I'm a car salesman and I'm not making that much money at Kia. I'm going to try to go to Mercedes and be a car salesman at Mercedes. We're at the mercy of the agents and the casting directors and and the investors when it comes to directing and producing
Right. No,
independently.
you're right. Well, you've done it all. I mean, you've done comedy, you've done drama, you've done TV, you've done indie movies, you've done national commercials. You just to let some people know that you've done Law and Order and Third Watch and SNL, and I saw the little clip. It was very funny, and The
Yeah.
Sopranos. And you've done and one indie film that really spoke to me was Vito Bonifaci.
Oh,
And
really?
my mother has this saying, caskets don't have pockets. And it resonated with me because I just want you to talk about it just a little bit if you want to, but it's not your average Italian movie that everyone's used to watching. There's a lot of movies out there that we all can identify with, and we all have a family member maybe that you can relate to in that genre. But the point is that this is a family movie. It makes you question your life and your faith and how you lived your life. And my mother's saying caskets don't have pockets. She used to say, you can have really nice things while you're here, but when you're not here, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I think that movie really reflected a lot on having people think about their own lives and, things that they've done or can do, or, you were approached to do that movie. And I just want you to talk a little bit about your experience with it, because I think it was really, really good.
Did you see that little blip?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. You know what it is? I don't have the computer set up. I'm on my iPhone, and I guess when a call comes in, you have to hit decline. So I reached over and was hoping the phone didn't fall. And let me just say that I'm in my office, and I wasn't here all day, and it was so warm out today. And so the air conditioning hasn't been on all day, and I just came here to meet you to do this, and it's so hot in here. I want to get up to put the air on, but I feel like I'm not going to hear you.
Yeah.
I might be sweating already.
But I just want you to talk about the movie
Vito Bonifaci?
Yeah, just how it just how it was so different from you and what you were used to doing.
You know, I've done a lot of cop detective stuff, and I've done this particular role, although, you know, the director was looking for an Italian American actor. You know, it was much different because he was, well, you know, some people, I mean, I'm impressed that you know, watched the movie, and then, and I'm happy that it touched you. But some people might watch that movie and think that Vito Bonifaci, you know, he was a contractor. He was a successful contractor, and had a beautiful home and all these things and a beautiful family. So you might think, some people's perception might have been that he was a connected kind of guy, maybe, partially through the movie. But, you know, you really come to realize that he just was a hardworking, um, you know, really conscientious, diligent man. The only thing is, you know, he got very caught up in the material things in life, and he wasn't thinking enough about the spiritual things in life, and he lost his faith on the way. So I found the making the movie a wonderful experience, because it was so different from. You have to teach me next time how to, like, not let these phone call alerts come in. You know, not you know, playing something so stereotypical. And it was very personal to me, because at the time I took the role and they shot it up in Utica, New York. So Utica is about 5 hours from New York City, something like that. And the story is about, you know, my character keeps having this recurring dream, as you know, and he thinks if he leaves his house, he's going to have a heart attack when he pulls out of the driveway. So he's paranoid of this until, we'll let people, if they watch the movie, find out what happens at the end when he finally does leave his house. So I had gotten a phone call, and my father had a heart attack the first day of production.
Wow.
So I was on the set, and it was kind of surreal, because my character was fearful and paranoid of having a heart attack. So I just didn't know how to deal with it, and I wanted to go back, but, you know, he was okay, but he did have a heart attack. And the director is very, very spiritual, John Martosha, and he got everybody together to, like, pray, and it made me just feel confident that he was going to recover. And I think you know, I don't want to sound like a cliche actor, but I think I brought that to the role because it was in my head. My dad had a heart attack. Oh my God. And I'm playing that role. Not many people know that background to the story.
Well, thank you for sharing it, because it's very personal, and I think it worked. It definitely worked.
I'm glad you saw the movie. You know, I wish more people would see it. You know, it's a spiritual movie. People have this, you know, MTV generation attention span, and they can't sit down and watch a movie that's slower moving and meditative, so to speak, as the director put it. But a lot of people enjoyed it, and there were some people that you wouldn't stereotypically see in that movie, like Louis Veneria, who's a friend of mine, and I've directed a lot and worked with as an actor a lot. I got Louis a part in it, you know, because and he was perfect. He played my gardener, and then William DeMeo, who I've worked with a lot. I got him to do something completely different. I asked the director to write. He wrote the role of a priest, which, you know, William has never done. So that was a big challenge for him, and he, you know, I thought he did a great job with it.
I think it was nice seeing everybody in a role that you don't normally see them in. And I think that, you know, you've done so many movies and directed and written, and I don't know if you have people in mind when you do that, but I know that you seem to work with the same crew. It's kind of like, you know, Adam Sandler has his own, like, comedy family crew and it seems that, you know what it is too, when you connect with people and you click with them, and you know that they're reliable, and you know their talents and you know what they bring to the table, you know, of course you want to keep working with them. So it's always nice to see friends who I know also in the movies. But I want to go back to 1999 a minute. If I'm correct, you directed your first feature film back in 1999 called Four Deadly Reasons.
Yes, Four Deadly Reasons was the first feature film that I directed, which is, you know, basically 20 years ago. As a matter of fact, well, that's dear to me too, because like a lot of my friends, I was the president of the Guild of Italian American Actors for 4 years, and I made so many new friends through that, and lifelong friends that I knew before, and then after that, and like Vinny Vella was in the movie, and
Yeah,
he's a
yeah,
good friend. He's no longer with us. Joe Regano was in the movie.
yeah.
He's no longer with us. Paulie Cicero was in the movie. He's no longer with us. I mean, I worked with Richie Castellano, who put the film together. He wasn't necessarily a friend or person I hung out with, but he's passed since. So, and Alex DeMena, who's my best friend that I grew up with, I put him in the movie in a small biker part, and I lost him a few years ago. So it's like, it's strange because right now there's a documentary out. I don't know if you've seen it or but it's called Narrowsburg, and
Okay.
it's about, well, really there was a whole scandal behind. I had nothing to do with it because I didn't know what I had gotten into when I agreed to direct my first film. But there was a whole scandal behind it in the town of Narrowsburg where the film was shot, and someone spent 10 years making a documentary, and a lot of it has to do with the behind the scenes making of Four Deadly Reasons and that town of Narrowsburg. And right now, I think it's on Amazon right now, or yeah, I'm pretty sure, but it definitely could be found.
Wow, it's interesting. It's really interesting. But you've worked with so many great, talented actors. You were in 61. You played Yogi Berra, okay?
Yeah,
And Billy Crystal directed it, right?
yeah. Billy Crystal directed it. And was the executive producer. It was an HBO film, and
Yeah.
that was. I wish I could walk around the room. It's like I have so many 61 memorabilia from making the movie.
Yeah.
And Yogi Berra, having played Yogi Berra, I got to know Yogi. He signed so many things for me. I have like almost like a Yogi tribute over on the trophy case area. But yeah, that was pretty much the best probably experience of my acting career.
Yeah, that was on HBO. And you've worked with Pesci, you've worked with De Niro, you've worked with
Yeah.
Meryl Streep. Hello, the list goes on and on. David Carradine. I mean, you were in Julia and Julia.
Julie and Julia, yeah.
Yeah, which was another great movie that I loved. The Family with De Niro.
Yeah, that was a great experience because they shot that film in France for the most part, a little bit in Brooklyn, and I got to go to France for a month. And a number of my friends are working on the film also, like Dominic Lamberdozzi and Vinny Pastore, and so Jimmy Palumbo. So I was in France with actor friends from New York, and Anthony Mangano also, and it was great. And Robert De Niro was in it, Michelle Pfeiffer, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, it's like going on vacation for a month, right?
Yeah, we had 4 days off, and they sent us to Paris for a trip. Me and Vinny Pastore, we went to the Eiffel Tower.
Nice.
So I can't complain.
Great. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, more with Paul Borghese. Please don't go away. So where do you want to go tonight?
Are you bored?
Oh my God.
Hold on tight. We're going to Coasters.
Coasters Tavern is located at 487 Newbridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222.
Well, hi there, Teresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Teresa. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. Listen, I want to thank John York from General Hospital for those kind words. I had Carolyn Hennessy on from General Hospital who plays Diane Miller, and I'm hoping John eventually comes on my show. Maybe in 2021. We'll see what I can do. I also want to thank the person who nominated Tea Time for Best Podcast on Long Island. So now I have to be like a politician and ask for votes. So what I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, is Google Best of Long Island Bethpage, and you click on Arts and Entertainment, and then you click on Podcasts, and then you click on Tea Time and vote for me. Okay, there's 18 of us, so I have a 1 in 18 chance of winning, and I'm really honored and blessed that someone actually nominated my show. But you know, winning would be fun, and it would be a coup, because I know the person who's won the last 3 years in a row. So I just wanted to, again, just say if you could go to Tea Time and vote for me when you get a chance, please do so. I want to thank everyone for liking my show, sharing my show. And I have a great show tonight, and you tuned in to a great guest. All my guests are great. But Paul Borghese wears many, many hats. And he's an actor, he's a producer, he's a director, he's a writer. I'm just exhausted just by saying that all. And I'm so honored and blessed that he took the time out to join me tonight. Thank you, Paul, again for being here. You know, we're talking about your career and how amazing it's been and how much you've done. From 1990 to 1995, you were an associate.
Let's not go back too far. Let's not go back too far.
Well,
And let's credit Joey. Let's credit Joseph D'Onofrio, who made the connection of putting us together to do your show.
I actually texted him before the show to thank him again, but I will thank Joe D'Onofrio for introducing us and making that connection. Joe was supposed to come on. There was a little a problem on his end, and he said that he's going to come on another time, and he did connect me to you, and I appreciate that because I feel God puts people in your life for a reason, and I'm glad you're in my path now, Paul.
I'm glad we've crossed paths too. I'm just all about the shout outs and the giving credit where credit is due.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I just wanted to, you know, mention to people how you were an associate producer and served also as a casting director at one time, and you also are an award-winning documentary filmmaker, and independent feature filmmaker as well. I mean, is there anything you haven't done yet that you want to do?
Get married again. I don't. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like I haven't even like put a dent in the can when it personally, like you're talk about, or a lot of people talk about you've done this and you've done that, but to me, I feel like there's so much more that I want to do and that I haven't been able to do yet. So I'm hoping that there are a lot more career opportunities, to direct more. Producing is very, very hard. I've been kind of forced into producing as a director. Writing is very hard. I've done a lot of writing. You were talking before about that I work with a lot of the same actors. And you asked me if, am I thinking about that when I'm writing? And yes, very often when I'm writing, I'm thinking about like, oh, someone's this person, like my cousin, Tony Darrow, whose real name is Anthony Borghese. Tony from Goodfellas and all, Analyze This and every other movie he's been in. I always think about, I'm writing. I'm like, oh, Tony's perfect this part. So I'm writing for Tony because I could just hear him saying the words.
Right.
Some of the other actors that I know, oh, I have this person in mind. And I'm sure it's like that on a Hollywood level as well,
Yeah, I think people do write with certain people in mind. I think it's just natural when you do that. Do you prefer to be behind the scenes or in front of the scene? Behind the camera, in front of the camera.
Acting and directing, people have been asking me that question for years, and I think I think I prefer the directing. Because it's like you're involved in every aspect of the production. There's never a dull moment. From the beginning of your day to the end of the day. As an actor, there's a lot of hurry up and wait around. I mean, a lot of times it's great to just learn my lines. Rehearse, be prepared, go to the set, not have to worry about anything, play my role, and leave.
I think you do both brilliantly, in front and behind.
Oh, brilliantly! I like that one.
I also want to mention, some movies that, that were in post-production, and then you had pre-production. I know COVID hit, and our entertainment industry was the last one to return. I know slowly but surely we're taking baby steps to try to, get back there. I just want to talk about some things that you've done and you were in. Almost Made has my friend Jackie the Joke Man Martling in it. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. Yeah, I actually brought Jackie onto that project. Yes, it was. It's a TV pilot, an independently made TV pilot. Jim Glorioso wrote it with Ronaldo Mancini, and Jim also produced it, and Roger Tully directed it. And I came on as an actor at first to play the role. It's a mob comedy, sort of a guy gets out of jail. He's trying to put a crew together so that he could, score and show he can earn and then get made. So right. Ronaldo plays, the boss that wants to get made of all of us. And then I started bringing people in, that I knew, like Louis Veneria and Joey D'Onofrio was also attached to this. Joseph D'Onofrio, we've worked together so much. And then, I was making recommendations, and there was, Jackie Mortling and, a lot of the same crew, like you said. So it was a fun project. We shot it way upstate New York in Amsterdam, New York, which was a lot of fun. And now we're hoping that they pitch it and that it gets picked up.
Yeah, I just filmed a pilot. We have one more scene, and we're hoping the same thing. Everyone's. Tell me about Gravesend. Gravesend was great. I watched it. And that was also with a good friend of yours, William DeMeo, who I've been talking to occasionally, also trying to get him on the show. But you were part of that also. And
yes, well, William and I have worked together for, gosh, I don't know, way back to the first movie we made together was Searching for Bobby D. Yeah. Which I love that movie, and I wish more people got to see it or get to see it, with Carmen Electra and Sandra Bernhard, and goes on and on and on. Who else is in it? And so, I've always William and I have written together, and I've helped him produce, and I directed. But then William really wanted to try to take on something that he wrote by himself, and he wanted to really take a stab at directing. So he put together, originally it was a pilot, and then he continued to, keep shooting. And then, he eventually wound up with sort of an introductory, a brief introductory season, so to speak, right. That, got onto Amazon. So I really just play a role in that, I play the head FBI guy, and William, he's going to be shooting more episodes starting next year. And he's asked me to direct some of the episodes, and I might even help him produce. I don't know, but my character is growing, and it's written in much bigger on this,
which is nice.
Yeah.
And Once Upon a Time in Brooklyn.
Yes, I think the poster's right behind me.
Great movie. I enjoyed it. I think it was amazing. Again, you had a slew of stars in that too.
Yeah, that was, we had Armand Assante. Well, Armand's been a friend of mine for a long time. Armand Assante and Kathy Moriarty, they played husband and wife, and Ice-T and Ja Rule. Another film I made with William DeMeo. My cousin Tony Darrow was in that too. And I mean, quite a few other, Once Upon a Time in Brooklyn. I'm starting to get my movies mixed up. I was starting to jump ahead to back in the day, before the day.
Yeah, that was
that movie was originally titled GOAT. That's the way we wrote it. And the reason being is that the lead, as you saw the movie, the lead character drove the Pontiac G69 Pontiac GTO. Yeah. And back in the day, that was the nickname for the GTO was GOAT, greatest of all times. So for me, it was a creative compromise because I wrote it and I directed it as GOAT. So the car was like another character in the movie, and
Right.
a lot of I shot a lot of the film with the perspective of the car, or the car being incorporated into the scenes. And then when the distributor, we were very fortunate to get Lionsgate, they decided to change the title to Once Upon a Time in Brooklyn because they thought more people would watch it. And that was disappointing to me, but I was very, very happy with the movie, and I'm very proud of the film.
I
Thanks
find
for mentioning it.
that a lot of times that happens is that they'll change the title of a film. My friend Gino, I don't know if you're familiar with Gino Caffarelli. He was in the Irish.
Sure, yes, I know Gino very well.
Yeah, Gino had a movie called originally Franny Lou, and when it was picked up, they changed it
Yes.
to Cruise. So it happens, and I think that you have a mindset, and then you kind of like got to go with the flow in order for it to get made, right?
Yeah, I remember when it was called Franny Lou, and again, it's all about marketing.
That holds a very special place to my heart. I grew up in Bayside. I'm a Bayside girl. I grew up in Queens, and I cruised Franny Lou back in the day.
Well, you see, so it's one of those things. There's a niche market maybe for the people that know what Franny Lou means, but people in Middle America hear Franny Lou
because when you hear cruise, you kind of think, I'm thinking, American Graffiti or something, because it's,
right.
just back to that time. But
or the Al Pacino movie which was about him going undercover in the gay community way back when, and cruise was a different meaning.
Absolutely.
Not that I'm judging anything, I'm just saying.
No, Armand DeSanti is actually good friends with.
From 2020. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Armand
DeSanti is actually very good friends with Ray Negron, who the off-Broadway traveling show that I'm in, Bat Boy, is about Ray Negron. I don't know if you've heard of him or his.
Yes, I do.
We got
I know.
painting graffiti at Yankee Stadium. Yeah, I actually, in the first half of the show, I play his Puerto Rican aunt, and I have on a wig, and it's a very dramatic scene. And in the second half, I put on a blonde wig, and I play such a ditz, and it's kind of like it's. Some people know it's me, and then some people don't, because in the first half I'm making people cry, and the second half I'm making people laugh, which I love, and then they'll try to put it together or they don't at all. So I enjoy that. I like playing different characters myself. But back in the day, let's talk about back in the day, because that was another great movie that you did, and again working with William DeMeo and and the same crew, so to speak. So
that was another film together that we did together, and that was stepping it up too, because we had Alec Baldwin in that film. So to direct Alec Baldwin was a great experience, as a matter of fact, and we had a lot of fun making that movie. It was sort of a boxing movie, and Danny Glover was in the film. I directed Danny Glover.
Annabella Sciorra was in it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Annabella Sciorra, and Mike Tyson, the boxer, was even in it, playing himself. Michael Madsen was in the film. We had quite a good cast, and that was a great experience. And that was probably the biggest independent film that I've directed to date. There's quite a few in the works, and we have in development right now, but COVID pretty much put most of the stuff on hold.
Well, we talked about Almost Made and Gravesend. Tell me about the last tour.
Well, the last tour was it was another independent project, and it was sort of a short film, and at the same time a pilot. Sometimes these independent filmmakers, I played a role in that, and sometimes independent filmmakers are sort of like crossing over, like, well, we'll make it as a short film so we can do the film festival circuit, but we also have something to pitch as maybe a series, and at the same time, they want to try to pitch it to make it into a feature film. So that's their plan is it's taking a long time, but that's their plan is to just get it more exposure, maybe make it as a feature film or pitch it as a TV series. And the most recent project I worked on, I mean, I don't know, you might have your own little pace you like to go at, but
the Family's Feud, and I have a bunch of friends who's in that.
Timing, would you like to plug them?
I sure will. That was filmed. I know they had to go to Rhode Island, and my good friend who I grew up with in Bayside, Peter Gordio, is in that.
Yes, Peter's a great guy. Great guy. He's a good actor. He's a gentleman, and I direct Peter also.
He's the best, and he's old school, and he's like my protector. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll never let anything happen to me. Like, he's always got my back. Always checking if I need anything.
He's a good guy to have as a protector with those that build of his.
I love him to death, and I told him I'm hoping one day we will work together. But Peter Gordio's in that. I know Joe D'Onofrio's in that. My friend Frank Fiella, I think, actually had a small part in that as well. And I know that they were all telling me, you got to go to Rhode Island. So tell me about the Family's Feud, which is now in pre-production.
No, it's actually in post-production.
Oh, it's in post now.
We finished. Yeah, they finished filming it. I think they're doing some pickup shots now. But yeah, I went to Rhode Island to work on that film, and it was a lot of fun. Bruce Sosha, who's an actor and he's now a producer, great guy, and really did a great job producing this. And Stu Rapogli, who directed it. It was his directorial debut, and we put like a really good, fun cast together. It's very different. It's kind of a cult-like mob comedy that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very just over the top, and the characters are almost like caricatures. Yeah. I mean, when we're doing drama movies, we as playing mob roles, we don't want to get caricature-like. We want to be characters. But in this case, everybody was kind of a caricature. We were able to go over the top, so we had a lot of fun. So it's sort of like the hillbilly world kind of meets the wise guys, and there's a whole Bigfoot backstory. And again, I worked with a lot of the guys that that I've worked with before, like William DeMeo and Joseph D'Onofrio, Louis Veneri, and my cousin Tony Darrow, John Fiore. I could go on and on. So we had a ball in Rhode Island working on that, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Must have been a blast.
And to be working now, I felt very, to be working now during the pandemic, I felt very fortunate to, just to be working.
Absolutely. And tell me about the Black Caesar.
Well, it also was a film that
is that post also?
No, it got held up because of the pandemic. It was supposed to fly over the summer, and it just got put on hold, like so many other projects. But I expect to work on that when things open up again.
Yeah, I was all supposed to do another indie film back in March, and that's they're trying to film the scenes that they can, and I was told that when my scene is ready, they'll let me know. So I'm just waiting.
That's all we can do.
Tell me about Made in Chinatown. Because my friend Goomba Johnny was in that one.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best. I worked with him a lot on that because we were there was all this mob stuff, but there were two mob crews, and we had so many laughs on the set with that. It reminds me a little bit of Family's Feud because it was also a mob comedy, and a lot of it's over the top, Right. I worked on that in Philadelphia, as a matter of fact, in Philly, and that was it was a very original story. It's about sort of like Little Italy and Chinatown, and
Right.
This young guy from Chinatown, he wants to go out with an Italian girl, but he feels like he has to try to work his way into the Italian mob as being Chinese. So it's made, and she's trying to get made in Chinatown, so to speak. So it's very funny, and there's a lot of recognizable Italian American actors in that. So another project that I had a lot of fun with.
Yeah. And tell me about Duped, because that was with Jerry. You worked with Jerry on that. And I think that won a few awards too, right?
Yeah, quite a few awards. I worked with Jerry DeLeo on Duped, and I wrote that, and Jerry produced it. Jerry played a role in it, and we made it as a short film. But the intention was to it very easily can be expanded to a feature film. So that's something that Jerry's working on now. But and again, I worked with when I wrote the roles, I wrote it for Tony Darrow. Although I wrote Tony in as he was a wise guy, but he was making like he was a lawyer in the beginning until you realize he's not a lawyer. He's just acting like his lawyer. And Joseph D'Onofrio's in that. Jerry's in that. Steve Stanulis. I don't know if you know Steve Stanulis. Steve's making a lot of independent films right now, more than a lot of people in the independent film community right now. I just finished working on a film with him called Chronicles of a Serial Killer that I play a role on in. And matter of fact, that's right now on, all the platforms on television. You're right. These are a lot of projects. I'm like saying how I remember everybody's name and the name of the projects, and don't ask me some of the character names because I forget some of the character names I've played.
Oh, wow. I want to thank everyone for watching with Paul Borghese, who's an actor, producer, director, writer. He does it all. He has done it all. We're going to take one more quick break. Don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to talk about ESPN. We're going to talk about Dinner with the Food Fellas. We're going to talk about, a couple of things that you did where people didn't wear too many clothes. And we'll be right back on that note.
So where do you want to go tonight?
Why don't we go to Coasters?
Oh, cool. I heard it's a great place. Let's check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh my God. Coasters Tavern is located at 487 Newbridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you joined me tonight because I have Paul Borghese here with me. He's an actor, he's a producer, he's a director, he's a writer. He's won many awards with films, and he's worn many hats. And yes, before the break I did mention clothes, but you actually directed some Centerfold Search or something back in the day?
Yeah, back like way early in my career, I cut my teeth on directing some videos for the Playboy catalog back when Playboy was like the girl next door, not like today.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were like Centerfold Searches, and like Spring Break was a big thing back then. So it actually was a great experience, like getting into like legitimate documentaries, because a lot of it was, filming events and things and contests and then interviewing. So even though the viewer of videos like that were maybe just looking to see how sexy and beautiful the girl was, or how little she might have been wearing, like you said, in some of the, some of the shows. But I was really trying to like interview them and be a filmmaker. So I really learned a lot from that process that I carried, way ahead, which.
I think every experience takes us to a next level and teaches us something. So, everyone's got to start somewhere. I don't judge, you know what I mean? I think if I was a young guy back in the day doing that, I think it would have been really fun. But
I'll tell you, it was really fun. But when you see how things have changed, like some of the things I directed back then, like they're the equivalent to like what you see on TikTok now. So like back then, something might have seemed racy or, scantily clad. You're seeing it on TikTok now. So
I know.
it's
crazy. All right, so let's talk about Dinner with the Food Fellas. Tell me about that.
Well, Dinner with the Food Fellas is a show that I created that I hope to still get on the air, and it's sort of a play on it's three actors that are known for playing good fella type roles, which are my cousin Tony Darrow, Vinny Pastore, and Joe Ganascoli, and they're the Food Fellas instead of good fellas. So it's called Dinner with the Food Fellas, an invitation you can't refuse.
I love the idea. I love it.
The posters, I think, back there somewhere behind me. I don't know if you could see it or if there's glare on it. And we shot the pilot episode with these three actors as the hosts of the show, and we shot it at Rayo's, which was a treat. I had Rayo's for the whole day to shoot some of the pilot, and Lorraine Bracco was on the in our pilot episode, and my good friend Anthony Michael Hall, who I worked with on the movie 61. That's how we became good friends. He played Whitey Ford, and Emily Francis. So and it's a fun show. They go similar to like Jon Favreau's Dinner for 5 years ago, but it's much more thematic and much more cinematic, so to speak. It's much more visual. So, the first episode was at an Italian restaurant, trying the food and talking about the food and Lorraine Bracco's wine and all that kind of stuff. And then they would go to different restaurants and have different celebrity guests for each episode.
I love it. I think listen, who doesn't like to eat and socialize? I mean, hello.
Exactly.
It's like a no-brainer. It's great.
Although we're a little limited now with restaurants, but who knows?
Yeah, now that at least we had the outdoor dining for a while. Now the weather is getting a little colder. I'm really not too sure what's gonna happen exactly. But you did a series for ESPN. You did a mini series for ESPN. The Bronx is Burning.
The Bronx is Burning. Yes. I played Jerry Markowitz. Is that right in that? Yes. Yes. He was the last. My God, that was a while back. Yeah, that was a miniseries, and it was back when the summer of the Son of Sam days. Right. It was about a lot of that and the blackout, and I was the father of the last daughter that the last young girl that was killed. He was a serial killer, the Son of Sam. A lot of people, depending on how old you are, you might not remember it, but he was a serial killer, and the last girl that he killed, his name was Stacy Makowitz. Right. I'm forgetting what my character is. Right. And Makowitz, and I played, Jerry Makowitz, her father.
Right.
Yeah, that was a great experience. When we shot that in Mystic, Connecticut, so Mystic is like, really cool town.
Yeah. That's on my bucket list. I have a bucket list of places to go, just to let you know. A lot of my viewers know this. Some do, some don't. I actually had a brain tumor 5 years ago, and I had to have brain surgery. So I have
my God.
Yeah, I have 2 titanium plates right here, Paul. So I get free Wi-Fi now. Anyway, so I have a bucket list. I have a bucket.
God bless you.
Thank you. God doesn't want me yet, Paul. I'm here for a reason.
He wants you to be here.
That's right. And I think that's why that movie also resonated with me for many other reasons. But basically, I have a bucket list. Mystic is one of them. Never been to Mystic. I've never been to the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty. What kind of New Yorker am I? Crazy. And
you've never been to the Empire State Building?
No. And I every time I see Sleepless in Seattle, right, where they go, I'm like, I gotta go there. And then the other thing is Italy. I'm 100% Sicilian. I have family in
Palermo,
Messina, and Catania, and I'm dying to go to Italy, and I wanted to go so bad, and then COVID hit because I can't. You know what I learned, Paul? I can't wait for anybody. If I'm gonna go, I gotta go. If you wait, it doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
Well, if you want to go to Italy, my cousin is Steve Perillo. You're familiar with Perillo Tours, right?
I have heard of them.
Mario Perillo, Mr. Italy, and then Perillo Tours is the biggest
his dad
travel company to Italy in the world. Yeah. And let me know if you're want to go to Italy. I'll hook you up.
Hey, that would be great. My parents actually went back in the 80s. They loved it. Loved it. Loved it. They loved it. But yeah, I definitely want to. That's on my bucket list, is to go to the homeland.
I'm half Sicilian as well, and I've never been to Sicily, so I want to go to Sicily as well.
My brother went for his 10th anniversary. They went to Positano, and they loved it. They saved for 10 years, and then they went, and they loved it. They loved it. But listen, we only have like 2 minutes left. Do you see how fast this goes? And I have so much more I want to talk to you about. But listen, I want people to follow you. I want them to watch your movies. They need to see your movies, okay? So I know that they can go to paulborghese.com. They could go there. You're also on Facebook. You're also on
Instagram.
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 Right, Instagram. So in the last couple of minutes, is there anything you want to like throw in that we didn't touch upon? Because I mean, I've got pages and pages and pages of stuff that I'd love to pick your brain with, but we're going to run out of time. Yeah,
just real quick, you mentioned that you're Sicilian. I mentioned that I am as well. My real last name is Borghese, spelled Borgese with no H. And as a stage name, I put the H in. So I'm being from Sicily, you would have no H. With the H, it appears that you're from Rome. But I am from, have roots in Sicily. So it's called Borghese. But I've been saying Borghese for so long, and the H has been in there for so long that's why my cousin is Anthony Borghese, who's really Tony Darrow.
Wow. Well, I know a lot of actors back in the day changed their names. Today, not so much. I think it's more embraced.
Yeah, well, ethnic names are more in now than they were back then.
Right. All right. Yeah. Well, listen, I just want to take this moment. I want to thank everyone for watching. Bruno Coppola is watching, and he said, great interview, Teresa, with Paul. Very interesting man. Thank you, Bruno. I love you so much.
Hello, Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno's great. And again, I
like that name.
But I just want to again take the time out and thank you so much for giving me this hour with me and to do this. And I'd love to have you back on anytime you want. You want to come on, promote, talk about anything. I'd love for you to come back, Paul. Again, Paul Borghese, please, check out his films. Back in the day, Once Upon a Time in Brooklyn. I mean, there's so many great things that you've had your hand in that, I just wish you just continued success and happiness and employment.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, Teresa. You look, I didn't get a chance to say you look beautiful this evening.
Thank you.
And remember, remind me, you look like my sister, so you have to go to my Facebook page and see what my sister looks like. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. If you go to my website, it's very outdated, but there's still a lot of stuff on there. But
I know. I was going to tell you, you got to update that. You got to update it.
Oh my God, it's there's so many things to do as an actor filmmaker.
I know. But listen, I want to thank you, Paul, again so much. Stay there for a quick minute, and I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for watching Tea Time. Please join me next week. Ciao, everybody.
Stay safe. Wear a mask.
Yes.